All right. Welcome back to Mr. Wilson's YouTube channel, classroom discussion. Monday, August 16th is the day. If you weren't here, I'm posting this in the afternoon so you can hopefully not miss class, so to speak. What's the topic of today? Today is we're working on the 1.2, the ready. And basically it's just kind of a review. What they want us to understand out of the ready is they want us to understand that we can regroup things. If we have two terms, okay, that have a common factor, we can take those and rewrite that as one factor, and the other two terms that are ahead of those factors, we can rewrite as another factor. So we can rewrite them as a product of two binomials. What is a binomial? Well, when we look at what binomials are, a monomial is one term, a binomial is two terms, a trinomial is three terms, and after that we just get into many terms. All right? So if we were to add something to this where, let's say we said 2x cubed, this would be a polynomial. Right? So now think of it as grouping. We're going to take these first two terms here, okay, or these repeated factors, if you will. These repeated factors are going to be one term, so 4x plus 1. What is left is going to be my other factor, 3x plus 2. Now, can I do that? Well, yes, you can. And the answer to that is, here's an example, okay? These are all monomial terms, single-use terms. If I multiply in order, kind of the way I should, 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 times 5, it's 15, I get 25. Well, if what they're saying is true, that I can take a common factor or a repeated factor and rewrite it, that becomes 5 times what is left, and what function am I doing with what's left? Because like up here, we said 3x plus 2. So we're going to say 2 plus 3, excuse me. And we can go ahead. If this is true, we should still get 25. Well, this becomes 5 times 2 plus 3, which is 5, and 5 times 5 is 25. So that shows you that we can regroup things. All they're getting you to do is see that you can regroup these. Now, why would I want to regroup them? Because when we start factoring, you're going to need to learn to regroup. Again, take x plus 2, x plus 4. If we go ahead and multiply this together, we get x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 8, right? Well, then we combine them, we get x squared plus 6x plus 8, and that's the product or multiplying factor. Later down the road, we will learn the factoring process. I need to go through the reverse process or dividing to get to here. Well, when we do so, the part of the process, there's several steps in the process. Step number 1 is multiply a times c. In this case, a, or my leading coefficient, is 1. So I get 1 times 8, which is 8. The second step is list the factors of 8. 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 3 is not a factor, 4 is it's listed, 5 is not a factor, 6 is not, 7 is not, 8 is but it's listed, 9 is not a factor, and 10 is not a factor. I went through the listing the factors 1 through 10 rather quickly. 2 and 4 give me 6, so that's what I'm going to use to rewrite this. I stretched it apart. Notice the similarity here. And then this is the whole, these next two steps is the reason why they want me to understand and see a common factor. I need to group my first and last terms. When I do, I need to divide out the greatest common factor. We'll stop and think about what the greatest common factor is of x squared and 4x. It is x. So I factor that out. When I factor that out, I'm left with x plus 4. When I factor out the greatest common factor of the second grouping, which is again a part of the process, it is 2. There's no x involved. So if I factor out a 2, what is left? X plus 4. This does two things. One, it lets me know that I factored correctly. The other thing is it's a common factor of both terms. So what are my factors then? My factors are x plus 4 and x plus 2. And as you can see, we got the same thing. So all they're doing is regrouping. So when we get to that point, we will have to learn how to regroup as one factor, what's left is the other. So let's try this. Let's try regrouping this here. What are my common terms? Well, 4x minus 10, there's a common factor, repeated factor, it gets 1. And then my next factors are 9x plus 2. That doesn't look very good. 9x plus 2. At this point, now is where I can begin the multiplication process. Not that it's easier, but it's just showing you a different way. This becomes 36x. X times x is x squared, so 36x squared. 4 times 2 is plus 8x. Minus 10 times 9, negative 90x. Minus 10 times 2, minus 20. 95 to 98% of the time you will have like terms here. And this is the last step in the sequence. 36x squared, positive 8 minus 9, minus 82x, minus 20. Circle or box your answer. It's 3 short steps. It's 1 regroup, it's 2 multiply, 3 is write your answer. Right? And then the last thing you're going to have to do is the go. Oh, by the way, on the ready, pick 5, any 5 of the 8 problems. That's in Google Classroom. Pick any 5 of the 8. I don't care which 5 you do, but pick any 5 of the 8. Make sure you show your work right here. Then you're going to have to do the go. I am not going to demand this right now, even though I should, but you need to list all your factors for 36 and 45. The reason is because when we get to factoring, you will have to list all the factors here. I will not be telling you to do so. I'm not going to ask you to do so. I'm going to tell you to do so, right? Because it's part of the process. So get used to it, especially if you can't see things right away. The second part is, what is the greatest common factor? Well, what are my factors of 36? 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 5 is not a factor, 6 and 6 are factors. 7's not, 8's not, 9 is, it's listed, 10's not. There, I listed all my factors of 36. 45, 1 and 45, 2's not a factor. 3 and 15 is a factor. 4's not, 5 times 9, 6 is not, 7's not, 8's not, 9 is listed, 10's not. Again, quickly I can list my factors. Rewind that if you need to. What is the largest number that appears in both sets of groupings? Right here is 9. 9 is what is called my greatest common factor. Okay, again, if you need to go back and revisit that, do so. Greatest common factor. Rewind this if you need to. That's in a nutshell. Ask questions if you have them.